Hello everyone, Jose Rodriguez here. Wow, what a difference between yesterday and today. Yesterday was just gorgeous outside. I was out flying my unique Typhoon Q500 Plus, which is a step before the Q500 4K that I do own. I did buy that one on eBay. The Plus was gifted to me by a viewer here locally in Maryland, and I had not flown it yet. So I decided to test some batteries that was also given to me. They were a little bit used, but I wanted to test them to see if they had the capacity necessary to fly for at least 15 minutes. And so I did a couple of videos, which one of them already went up, and then another one will be shown at a later date on YouTube. But anyway, we want to talk about the Canon PRO-100 yet again. I hope you guys enjoyed my why you should drill out that ball seat on the original cartridges. Very important reason. Go back and watch that if you have not seen it. I explain why it is really imperative that you do that. And today I got some nice comments by a lot of people. One of them was a gentleman that's been refilling for over 15 years, which is longer than I've been doing this. And he agreed with me totally. Okay? So that means a lot to me. That means that my theory is correct. Now, what about that very well-known yellow Jello problem that PRO-100 original yellow ink seems to have an adverse reaction when it mixes with any kind of water-based ink, which is all of the third-party dye inks for the PRO-100. They will react. What are the conditions? Almost unknown. But why take a chance? Here I have a cartridge that I was given empty, dried up. Right here I have a box full. If I was to refill this with Precision Colors inks or any other inks and let it sit, this will begin to gel. Okay? That would be deadly to the printhead, by the way. I discovered that reaction a long, long time ago, and I reported it to Precision Colors thinking that it was something endemic to just his inks. Well, it turns out that's not the case. The culprit here is this particular original yellow ink for the PRO-100. It will react. So how can you prevent this? Let me give you a scenario. You just bought your printer. You are going slowly through your inks and you decide, well, it's time for me to start refilling these cartridges because maybe I can't afford the original inks and I don't really care too much about longevity. Okay. So I buy an ink set from someone. Precision Colors will give you an empty, already flushed, already modified cartridge. Okay. And I'll tell you why that's important. But if you buy from someone else, they will not provide you with that. So what you end up doing accidentally without knowing is that you run this empty and the rest of the cartridge is empty, one at a time. You remove the ball, you drill out the seat, you put that plug all the way in, ensuring a perfect seal. And then you proceed to reset the chip and put the clip on it, and you'll have to use your original clip if they don't provide you with a good third-party, well, snapping on type clip. And then you go ahead and fill it. Your now new ink, water-based ink, will start to permeate into the sponge and will cause a gelling action at some point. It took me 3 refills for me to clog up my yellow channel on my printhead. Up to that point, no problem. So certain conditions, certain proportions have to be achieved. That's not something I want to do any longer. I don't want to achieve that. But they have to be at the perfect ratio, in other words, for that gelling effect to begin to take place. You don't want to do that. You don't want to take a chance. So the easiest way is to just use the cartridge that they're going to provide you. This is a CLI-8 yellow cartridge. you're going to need to remove this chip. You're going to need to remove your original chip because you have no other cartridge to replace your very first yellow one. And you don't have the time to modify, flush correctly this cartridge and then let it dry for 2 days. What about that slot in your printhead? That has to be occupied by a cartridge, a yellow cartridge. So you cannot be doing this on your own at this point. So you're going to use this cartridge. You're going to take this chip from your original one and replace the one that's on this chip, which is a CLI-8 yellow cartridge. Your printer will not get along very well with that one. So you make sure that you put this one in, you reset it, and then you fill this empty flush cartridge. Now, what about the rest of your cartridges? Well, you know what? You could do them one at a time, and all of the other colors do not require flushing. Okay, I recommend that you modify them when they reach low. It takes you maybe a few minutes to do this job if you get really good at it. If it's going to take you more than 5 minutes, that printhead is not going to want to sit there waiting for you for 5 minutes. It's going to move by itself over to the right again, and then you'll have to do the whole process again. But what I recommend is that you simply forego all of this. Just buy a set of pre-modified, pre-flush cartridges from eBay. There's a couple of sellers that are really good at this. They kind of learned it from me, and so they are providing you, the PRO-100 refilling community, with these expertly prepared cartridges that you can simply just fill and immediately use. Of course, you're going to reset them before you do that. And they come with a good clip, not this rubber banded clip. I have it taped on at this moment. That's really not good. Okay, you need the really good third-party clips, and those will come already preloaded with those. $60 for a set. I recommend you buy 2 sets. Okay, or buy that one set, refill those, pop them in your machine, take out the ones that are now almost low, partially low, whatever, and then process those at your leisure. You can then, remove the factory ball, drill out the seed, flush them out if you wish. Again, only the yellow one needs to be flushed out. You can use Windex with ammonia to do that job. It'll work perfectly. Flush it very well with lukewarm water. The other cartridges, don't worry about them. Just remove the ball, drill out the seed, and top them off with Precision Colors inks. Put the plug on them. Make sure you got your cap securely attached. Otherwise, you'll have ink all over yourself. Now, once you do that, you will have 2 sets. And I discussed this in the previous video, so I don't have to beat a dead horse. Okay. But the reason you do this is to just reduce the number of purge cycles that will take place. When you do one cartridge at a time, which most of us that will use OEM only will have to abide by, one cartridge at a time, every time one of them reaches empty. In this case, you're going to not refill them, so you use them till empty. You remove one card. I'm just giving you an example of what takes place. Remove that one card, put a new one in, you close the lid. It runs a global purge cycle. It takes ink from all the other 7 and also that new one to reprime the printhead. And then another cartridge will be low or empty pretty soon, the next few days. And you continue doing this. At some point, once you get to printing for several weeks, cartridges will be at all sorts of different levels because colors are not used equally. They're used at drastically different levels. You're always going to be replacing a cartridge quite often. Okay, that's what people complain about. Doing the complete set swap will set you up brand new, full, all of them. It'll take a long time before you reach empty on one of those. In the case of refilling, you're going to do that when one cartridge reaches low. Okay, if you're using OEM only, then you allow the cartridges to run empty because why would you want to throw away OEM ink, right? It's expensive. If you're refilling, got a full set in there. Print. One cartridge reaches low, remove all 8 and replace it with the second set. Guess what? All the levels are going to be brought back up to full. You got another 2 to 3 months before one of them reaches low. So if you don't print a lot, You're going to wait about 2 to 3 months before you have to perform this change again. And again, that second set that you remove that have one cartridge low and the rest of them were at various levels, reset them, top them off, let them sit until the next time you need to perform that complete swap. You will reduce the number of purge cycles by a factor of 8. Instead of 8 of them, it's just 1 every once in a while. That will reduce the soiling of your internal ink pads. Once those internal ink pads reach full, your printer is done for. You're going to have to buy a new one because it costs more than a new printer to have those pads replaced and serviced. Okay, so it's not a very economical thing to do. So anyway, that is it. The yellow Jello effect can be easily prevented simply by using the cartridge that they will give you, or as I recommend that you all do. And again, I'm not affiliated with these people selling these pre-modified sets. I just think it's a wonderful idea. It will save you the time. It will save you the aggravation of possibly misdrilling those holes. It's done for you. They're ready to go in perfect condition. You can go from original to fully working refilling system like that. So take that into consideration and buy one at first and then buy a second set. What do I do with my original cartridges that the printer came with? Sell them. You can sell them for $4 a piece, as I said in my previous video. You can earn back some money that way. Okay, that is it. Keep that in mind. The yellow effect will take place at some point, unless you flush this yourself or you simply buy pre-flush cartridges. And I am so happy that they are available on eBay by a couple of really enterprising individuals. That will solve completely the problem. Now, before I let you go, someone asked, what about the original ink in the print head that's there when I do that swap over to Precision Colors? What about it? Within a few seconds of that purge cycle taking place, it's gone. It's gone. It is not residing in your internal ink pads because of that purge cycle that takes place anytime you change, whether it's 1 cartridge, 2, or 8. Okay. So that is it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And tomorrow night is the live stream. So if you want more detail, even more arduous discussion about the subject, I'm going to talk about this tomorrow because everybody's asking me about this. So tomorrow night, I'm going to be discussing this subject and, of course, answering questions and giving you any tidbits, any news that I have heard, come across. And we'll also have a bit of droning. All right. So please join us tomorrow night if you have a chance to do so. We'll have a lot of fun. Happy printing, everybody. Bye-bye, as always.